the key piece number one is, set clear goals. And again, some of this might seem kind of elementary, but I think we all need, especially once a year, which again, it's in the 2021, so it's perfect timing, but we need somebody to remind us that, hey, maybe it's a time to step back, work on your business instead of in it, and figure out where are we going, what are our goals for next year, how many leads we need to get there. And a good metaphor for this is kind of like a sailboat, right? If you I don't know if anybody on here has been sailing before or not, but I mean, if you're on a sailboat and you don't know the wind patterns of that day, and you don't set the mast and the sails correctly, I mean, you can end up running in circles if you don't do it right, and you don't know where your end point is, right? So when this is comparable, like having clear goals, it's like having wind in your sails, to where if there's no wind blowing, you're not going to get anywhere, right? But if you have the goals set, the mast set, for the sailboat metaphor, it's you can head in the right direction and tracking it along the way. And then what do you do on a sailboat? You adjust it accordingly to make sure you end up in your final destination. And I always thought this was a kind of cool study. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but there was a Harvard study done, and they interviewed a bunch of grads about goal setting, not goal setting. And here's what's crazy. The 13% of the class who had goals were earning on average twice as much as the 84%. Twice as much, right? I'd say it's enough to like take goal setting seriously. And this is what's crazy. The 3% that had them written down, because it's, again, human beings are funny, right? If we're not reminded of something consistently, our minds just, we're in la la land, and we just kind of forget about, right? We all have intentions, but we might not necessarily remember to do that unless we're reminded of it, right? So that's why I think writing it down and ingraining it more in your brain is so powerful. But 3% were earning 10 times as much as the other 97% put together. All of them put together. It's like, so long story short, as you're working through this today, make sure you take notes and actually map this out. And not to go on a side note, but I've read this a little bit too. And I don't even do this, honestly. Like I said, I don't do this as often as I should, but this is a great reminder for me to, like, even if you want to write down your company goals every morning with pen and paper. I don't have the study with that, but again, that's you can take this to a whole other level by reactivate. It's like your reticular activating system in your brain or whatever. It can help hardwire it to keep you focused on where you're going. But this is just proof that doing this, and you guys, appreciate you showing up today and taking action and doing this, because obviously I'm assuming most of you guys are goal achievers. And if you're not, you're about to be, right? So you kind of want to, so here's like a general framework. And again, you don't have to do it the specific way. This is kind of what we do that works for us. And this is simple, but today, excuse me a second. When we'll talk more about annual goals, but then reverse engineering them to quarterly, week, or monthly. And then, you can even dial it down even further, which I kind of like to do. You can take it down to weekly and daily as well, right? But again, you start high level, you reverse it, and reverse it down to what actions have to take to hit the goals. And then, something that I've started doing that'll help you guys, if you guys use, I don't know if you use iCalendar or Outlook or Google Calendar, but you can schedule a meeting with yourself in your calendar, like now, or do it after this webinar. Say, hey, let's say March 31st, 2022, or maybe just do April 1st, 2022, a 2-hour block in your calendar. So you remember a meeting with yourself to, hey, what are my 2022 goals? How am I tracking? And that way you can kind of keep back on track. And you can do it, you can break that down to weekly, monthly, however often you think you need to be reminded. But that's something that I've done that's worked out great. Again, because we all say we're going to do it, but unless it's in the calendar, there's actually a quote, I can't think of it now, but I've heard a quote about that too, that we all talk a big game, but until it's in the calendar is when it's that's when it's official, right? It's like if somebody wants to talk to you or whatever, it's like, well, a lot of people say that, but it's like until we book a meeting and we're going to talk, like then it's real, right? Once you schedule it, it becomes real. So schedule a meeting with yourself to do your check-in on, I mean, this could be personal goals and company goals. I mean, I know today we're focusing on your restoration company, but you can apply this to any area in your life that you're looking to improve. So, all right, let's think. Here's some questions to ask yourself. What's your revenue target for next year? How much is that going to be monthly? How many leads or calls are you going to need to hit that? And what's your average transaction value, right? So once you guys can write this down and work through this together, I'll just give you an example right here. So let's just say you're a smaller restoration company and you're only doing, $750 a year, and you want to double next year, right? You want to do 1.5. So that's 125,000 a month. Most of our clients, what we see is, anywhere, this will vary for you, just put your number in here. But an average job size of 3,000, right? Some of our clients is closer to 25. Some of it creeps up to 45, 5,000. If you do the rebuild putbacks, it could be, 8, 9, 10,000 a month, right? That'll kind of be, but on average across the whole, I think 3,000 is a safe target. So in this instance, that would be 42 jobs per month. Let me make sure that math is right. 42. Yeah, 126. So close enough, right? So it's 126,000. But you guys understand the point, right? You just divide this by 12. Divide that. I think you guys understand how to get there, right? You divide that by the number of months, and then multiply how many leads, or divide, your monthly target by your average transaction value. That'll tell you how many jobs you have to get on a per month basis, right? And I don't think a lot of restoration companies don't necessarily take the time to focus and like map this out. Like I hear it all day, every day. Yeah, I just want more leads. Like, I mean, everybody wants more leads, right? If you're trying to grow your business, then you want more leads. But having an actual goal and target allows this is what we do with our clients, like allows you to reverse engineer. Like, all right, this is how we can get there. So there's one more piece to this though. If you get this many leads, or you need to know how many leads you need to get that many booked jobs. So here's how you guys can do it. What's your average conversion rate for, leads to, it can be anywhere from 55 to 95%, right? I mean, I know, everybody tells me they close 100%, and like, everybody thinks they're good at closing until you actually track it and you're like, man, I actually didn't. But we do see like a lot of our clients, I mean, it can be anywhere from 70 to 90%. Obviously, if it's more emergency-based type work, that conversion rate will be a little higher, or it should be. If you do a little bit more rebuild, remodeling type work, mold removal type work, the conversion rate is typically a little bit lower because people shop that out a little bit more than they do the emergency stuff. So in our example I showed you guys earlier, if you're trying to double next year from 750 to 1.5, or you just want to do 1.5 next year million, you need 76 leads per month on average if you're closing at 55%, right? And then, so like what I like to do too is, let's say a lot of you guys are probably 24/7, right? If you're restoration, most of you guys are 24/7. So let's take 76 divided by 30. 2.5 leads a day on average is what you need. I don't know. I kind of like seeing it. I like seeing it on a daily basis because it makes it seem, I don't know, a little, I don't know. I just like taking it down there because then you can kind of map out like, all right, I need 2.5 leads a day. How are we going to get 2.5 leads a day? And you guys, so obviously tweak these numbers for your particular situation, but this is just a great simple framework for you guys to think about. And I'm going to give you guys, here at the end, I'm going to give you guys this a worksheet. So if you wrote that down, I mean, that's good too. But I'll share this with you, and you can kind of plug in your own numbers and kind of play with it here after the call. So hang tight. All right. So hopefully you guys took a minute to kind of think about that. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep. If you fell asleep, wake up. No, I was kidding. But all right, let's keep rolling. So now we kind of talked about the first main pillar was the goal setting, right? So now you know where you want to go in 2022. And you can, schedule some time after this webinar to kind of finish mapping that out if you need to. But that was pretty high level. You should have a general idea of a target. Hope you got value out of that video. If you're looking for more ideas and strategies for better ways to market your water, mold, or fire damage restoration business online, you can go to restorationmarketinggroup.com, and there we have a free checklist you can download. It's called the Ultimate Online Marketing Guide for Damage Restoration Contractors. And there you'll be able to get the latest strategies that are working now to really increase your lead flow online. You could probably even 5 to 10x the number of leads you're getting per month from internet marketing. So there should be a link below, restorationmarketinggroup.com, and there you can download the checklist for free of charge. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.